Because this episode of Loki was filler, this is really just kind of a filler review at this point, right? So Loki, episode 3, is the worst episode of the 3 and the least eventful. We get more context about Loki as a character. He comes out as bisexual, which is pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. But other than that, it's basically a whole lot of nothing and waiting and anticipation for what's to come in the next few weeks. Now, this episode to me, as I was watching it, felt like an episode of The Mandalorian. Like, The Mandalorian is such a great story, but it has those moments in between all the great episodes of having these episodes where they're just filler. And excuse my wife as she's sneezing, if you could hear her in the background. But this episode, not only was it filler based, but it's also on a different planet, which was kind of cool. And seeing that, it also assured to me that this really felt like watching an episode of The Mandalorian. Now, Loki, to me, is a character that has always been very mischievous. Obviously, he is the god of mischief, but Lady Loki, we get a lot of her character dynamic, why she doesn't want to go by Loki anymore, and why she is in the position that she's in. And one of the best scenes in this entire episode is the beginning scene where it's Lady Loki and the woman that she enchants her mind, and they set up this setting of them at a restaurant, and she is letting her know where the timekeepers are. However, she's not allowing her mind to open up. She has a strong-willed mind. And then it's kind of revealed later on that Lady Loki, one of her big things is that she's able to obviously enchant people's minds, basically use a Jedi mind trick on them. Hint, Mandalorian, Star Wars. But that it's only for the people who have strong minds that she has a harder time enchanting. And there's a scene where she's trying to enchant Loki and our Loki, and Loki is strong-willed. He's not giving in to what she wants. And that to me is kind of interesting because it shows a lot more of the backstory of her character and what her character does differently than the Loki that we know. Because these are two different characters. They're not the same. Although they have similar backgrounds, kind of, they also come from different places. And more of her mission is revealed. It's also revealed that the TVA, every single person working for the TVA, was actually a variant. All of them. They were all kidnapped by the timekeepers, and the interesting thing is they don't know. The timekeepers basically keep them locked away, and they tell them that this is the way the world is, and this is what their job is for. And it's very interesting to me because I really think that it's setting the timekeepers up to be villains. And they have a grand scheme in all of this, which they are trying to basically be in control of everything that's going on. And it's very fascinating to see that this is the reality. Now, do some of these variants or some of these TVA workers know that they're actually there against their own free will? I want to say yes, but also at the same time, they could be just doomed and tricked. And that's what happens when your brain gets used to something being fed to you over and over and over again. You start realizing or thinking that that is truth, when in actuality, it might not be. And that's the thing, is this episode really brings up a lot of different allegories in that way. But overall, I don't really have anything to say about this episode. It was filler. I mean, it's the most filler episode of TV I've seen since The Mandalorian, and my least favorite. I think it's good what we get. I think some of the action is good. I think some of the world building is great. I love the color palette in this episode where it's using a lot of blues, a lot of purples. I love that. But I really wish that with a 6-episode slate of television, they should have used this more to actually answer questions as opposed to hide them. Hopefully next week is better. Let's hope that it can not be filler. This was your one episode that you can have, I guess, to be filler, but every episode hereafter needs to go somewhere. There needs to be a direction. And that's what I'm hoping to see from next week's episode. What did you guys think about this week's episode of Loki? Let me know down below in the comment section of this video. This is a review that's very all over the place, and I apologize for that, but there's really not a lot to talk about other than, you know, Loki coming out, the TVA actually are variants, and a little bit of the backstory of Lady Loki. And Loki gets drunk as well. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Also, consider subscribing to the channel for more MCU content like this. I will be back next week in a different setting, reviewing the latest episode of Loki. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.